Hey everyone, Jerry, the founder of Bronson Creative, and today we are going to break down another scene from my second feature film, Little Hand. So let's get started. So this sequence is from the birthday party, whenever we're reliving some of their past relationship scenarios. And so one of the things that they talk about is a birthday party, and it didn't go as well as they wanted. There was some weird jokes that Brendan had made, things like that. So this is one of the scenarios that she has to relive as she's trying to figure out what's going on with their relationship. So let's get started. This is a callback to the opening montage, so if you've seen that, this is just a retelling of that from a different perspective, as he's having to have the conversation for the second time. He's having the conversation for the first time in his storyline, she's having it for the second time, and she's kind of calling him out on some of the things that happened last time. These kind of are another seamless match that we wanted to play with, and so I wanted it to go from day to night, and then that we're right into the birthday. So the way that the house was built, you really couldn't see those windows when you came into it, so it's also a surprise for her that that we went straight to nighttime. So these are all her friends, and so we see them a couple times throughout the film, especially Becca's character right here that's talking right now. And so she will be towards the end of the film. She's also towards the beginning when she introduces them for the very first time. And so we get to see how she would have introduced them as a couple, Brendan and Danny. So we're at the birthday party. This was, from the very beginning, I knew this was going to be a complicated scene because most of the film is just two characters in this house. On this day, we had about 10 or 12. And so we wanted it to have kind of a full birthday feel. We got all of our friends to come out that were supportive of the movie. And we were able to kind of go through it. So we filmed this all in one night, so in about 8 hours. And so there's a lot of coverage, a lot of lighting, a lot of different things that were happening. And the apartment was fairly small, so we had to get kind of creative of what our different angles would be and how we'd play it together. I had storyboarded this and shot listed and overheaded it way before. One of the perks that we had, because this was the screenwriter and the cinematographer's house, they were living there, is that we were able to come in and do blocking rehearsals beforehand. So we blocked this whole thing with Jess here, so we would know exactly where everybody was sitting, even if they weren't there yet. So we could kind of have an understanding when we got in there, we had to move fast. It was a lot of things going on. So this is about the time that Jess realizes, oh, I know more than everybody else. So I know that I'm looping through time. I know what actually happened in this scenario. I know what happened when I had this birthday party. And so she has to start to dial that back as to not make everybody super uncomfortable with what's going on. Like, how does she know these things? What happened? Did Brendan tell her? Well, excuse me. Brendan's character is a little unreliable for most of the movie, so it does make sense that maybe that would happen. That's a real photo that she took whenever she came up, which was kind of fun. We had a real Polaroid, and so you were able to get it kind of in real time, so which I found interesting. So this dynamic here, we wanted to play with two different relationships, and so how they were interacting with each other, how they were sharing space with each other, how they were, how their relationship came off to other people as she started to realize there were things that she really liked about the relationship, but there were also some really, really toxic things that she didn't like about the relationship, and that starts to come through in this sequence. She starts to realize, oh, this pattern is repeating. Even if I'm conscious of it this time around, it is repeating. And so I thought that was very interesting in the script when we started developing it, that we were able to see these things happen over and over again. Whose fault they are is, up to you as the viewer. But if we know that they're happening and we still can't do anything about it, are we living in kind of a fairy tale? Are we living in a scenario where it's, we can't fix those things, because if we fix those things, then it's not the relationship we had. And so I found that very, very interesting with this dynamic of, like, is it better to have been through the scenario and then it's over, or would you go back and fix it? I think we've all had that conversation with ourselves, like, oh, if I could go back and just fix this one thing, if I could fix this one thing. But then you wouldn't have had that experience, so you may not even want to have that experience because it's not what you remember. And so a lot of my films are about memory. They're all about the way we remember things in the moment. The characters have to live with those kind of things. And so if you watch Seize the Carp, which was my third feature film, there's some breakdowns as well on here on the channel. You can go through and see that that film is a lot about memory. Its working title was called In Memory Of. And so one of the things that we discussed on that film specifically is I wanted to play with how we remember things. Is it as good as we remember, or are we having this kind of like fantasy of it? And then we have to go, if we'd experienced it a different way, would it really be that? And I don't know, that's up for you to decide. So here we're coming to the end of it, and we wanted to do another seamless transition in camera. And so one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted this party to disappear. The way that this was written in the script was it was spinning around, the world was spinning, the walls moved, and eventually you were in the next scene. We didn't have that kind of budget when we finally made the film, and so I decided, and with the cinematographer, with Tristan, we said, well, what if we try to do a lighting thing on camera? And so that's what we did. So we basically blacked out the whole room. We put duvetine, which is a light tight material that you can put on windows, things like that. It'll black it all out. And what you'll see right now is we just lowered all the windows like shades, basically. That made the room bloom, because we were filming this during the daytime. We just blacked out everything so we could make it look night again. We shot this sequence after the birthday party. So we did it the next day after everybody was gone so we could do this. And then you would have this kind of big reveal where you reveal the room, and now we have the sun shining in. And so we're also back to the very beginning of their relationship where they moved in. Time is starting to unfold backwards. And now this part of the relationship is really where she starts to realize, oh, I can manipulate this now. I can change it. I can make it better. And this is where the movie starts to continue forward. So, if you want to check out the whole film, you can buy a copy over at bronsoncreative.us and watch that. You can watch more of these scene breakdowns and just about how we made the film and how we attempted to bring some of these very cool camera techniques to life with very, very simple kind of techniques. And so with that being said, I hope you check out bronsoncreative.us, pick up a copy of the DVD. All my films are on DVD over there. Subscribe to this channel, and I look forward to sharing the next one with you. Have a great day.